Hello. Let's discuss the anger underneath the anger. Welcome back. This is Dr. Philip Montgomery here, and today we're going somewhere most conversations about anger don't go. Because here's the truth. What most men call anger isn't actually the primary emotion, it's the surface layer. It's the emotion men have been given the most permission to show. So when something harder comes up underneath, something that feels more vulnerable, it surfaces dressed as anger. And I'm not just saying that as theory. I see this every week in my work. Men who describe themselves as having an anger problem, who, when we slow things down, realize the anger is just the front door to something deeper, something that actually needs attention. Let's talk about what's underneath. Think about the last time you got genuinely angry, not mildly irritated, really activated. Now ask yourself, what was the feeling that showed up right before the anger? For most men, the answer falls into one of four categories: fear, shame, hopelessness, or hurt. Those are vulnerable emotions. And for a lot of men, especially men who were raised in environments where vulnerability wasn't acceptable, those feelings are unconsciously converted into anger almost instantly. Because anger feels powerful. Anger feels like forward movement. Anger says, I'm in control of the situation, even when you're not. In clinical terms, this is called a secondary emotion. The anger is real, it's not fake, it's not manufactured, but it's protecting something underneath that's softer and harder to access. Here's why this matters practically. If you keep treating the anger as the problem, you're treating the symptom and missing the source. The anger will keep coming back because the thing generating it, the fear, the shame, the hurt, is not being addressed. This is not a character flaw, this is a pattern, and patterns can be understood and changed. So here's how you start working with this instead of against it. The next time you feel anger rising, before you react, pause and ask yourself this one question: what does this anger need me to protect? That's it. That's the question. Is it protecting your sense of respect, your fear of losing control, a deeper feeling of not being enough, a wound from earlier in your life that this situation just poked? When you can name what's underneath the anger loses control of you because you've gone to the actual source. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying anger is the enemy. Anger has a legitimate place. It signals when something important to you is being violated. That's useful information. But when anger is the only tool in your emotional toolkit, you start using it for things it wasn't designed for. And that's when it damages your relationships, your reputation, and your health. Here's what I'd encourage you to participate in this week. Build some emotional vulnerability, not the therapy kind, just honest internal awareness. When something triggers you, take 10 seconds before you respond and say to yourself, I'm scared about this outcome. I feel disrespected. I'm ashamed of that mistake. You don't have to say it to anyone else at first. Just say it to yourself and notice what shifts in your body when you do. That internal naming process is where real emotional regulation begins. Not willpower, not suppression, but awareness. The work I'm doing here is the kind that produces real results. Not internal insight, better decisions under pressure, fewer blow-ups that cost you later, stronger relationships because people can actually reach you. If you want a structured framework to move through this, stay with me. We will be back again next week and look forward to reaching out. And as always, when you can, please follow, like, and subscribe. Thank you. See you next week.